Welcome to Law Excellence Hindu News Analysis. Today we are going to cover these topics that are appeared in the Hindu newspaper, which are relevant from the examination perspective, both prelims and mains UPSC. Now coming to the first article of the day. Now this article is saying that what is the extent of the global share of solar energy? Now what is the context of the news? Now recently World Solar Report was released by the International Solar Alliance. Okay, this report highlighted what is the present status of adoption of solar energy worldwide. Now how solar energy is evolving over the time. Now this is what been mentioned in this article. So from the prelims perspective, you have to know the report is released by the International Solar Alliance. Now we will understand the certain things about International Solar Alliance also from the prelims perspective. But before that, you have to understand the importance of this data mentioned in this article, because if you see previous year mains question, solar energy is a recurring theme both in GS paper 1 and GS paper 3. Right? In GS paper 3 there is a syllabus topic called energy. Okay, not only that, in climate mitigation also recently in GS paper 3 there is a question asked about the one sun, one world, one grid, right? Which is also something related to the climate mitigation and solar energy, right? Now, if you see this question, this was asked in GS paper 1. It is saying that India has immense potential for solar energy, though there are regional variations in its development. Now, in GS paper 3, there is a question asked that what are the advantages of using solar energy compared to the internal combustion engines? Okay, these type of questions are repeatedly asking about solar energy. The data mentioned here you can use in the examination, right? In this article, it is being mentioned that globally, that is in the present times, in 2000, in the year 2000, the adoption of solar energy is around 1.22 gigawatts. Okay. Now, in the present status, as of 2023, it has been said that around 1419 gigawatts are their installed capacity of solar energy. Now, this enormous growth indicates that compounded annual growth rate of 36%. Okay, now this indicates the increasing awareness of use of solar energy, adoption of solar technology, and things like that. Now, this article also mentioned that world over there is a transition towards renewable energy. But among all the renewable energy technologies such as solar, wind, hydrogen, bioenergy, and things like that, three-quarters of all the renewable energy capacity additions that are happening worldwide every year, it is from the solar energy. Okay, 3/4 of the all solar energy additions that are happening is from the solar energy. Now, this is also mentioned in this article. Now, other important thing mentioned in this article is world over there is transition towards renewable energy. There is research and development ecosystem, especially towards renewable energy, right? In particular towards solar energy. That's why world over the cost of or the price of solar energy worldwide is decreasing. Hence, that is what mentioned in this article. You see, it is said that the auction prices are reduced. For example, in India, it has been said that it is just $34 per megawatt hour. Now, in this way, it is outstripping the combined investment. Now, another thing mentioned in this article is one is the reducing the prices of solar prices. Hence, it is very competitive for solar energy to adopt. It is because of the increasing technologies adoption. Another thing mentioned is about investment. Now, in this article, it is mentioned that globally, presently around $500 billion are being poured it as an investment into the solar energy technology. Now, this is higher than the combined investment of all other renewable energy generation. For example, it can be wind, it can be biogas and other renewable energy, hydrogen, things like that. The investment in solar is combined, higher than all other investments in all other renewable energy. Hence, although there is $500 billion, remember this fact. You can use in the answers also, right? And world over, the research is happening into the solar panels. For example, it is being said that quantum dot solar cells to increase the increasing efficiency of the battery cells, right? And also research is going on regarding self-healing panels, right? Self-healing panels, recycling and reuse of the solar panels, recycling of solar panels, because solar panels are very costly in nature. By recycling, it leads to circular economy and reduce the environmental impact. Now, what are the things at a global market, especially regarding the solar photovoltaic cells? Now, it is being said that 43% of the solar photovoltaic cells that are manufactured are coming from the China. Now, China is dominating in this market, right? Not only that, China is dominating because of its manufacturing capacity in wafers. 97% of the wafers are manufactured in China, 89% of the cells, 83% of the module installation capacity. Now, this indicates dominance of China globally. Now, it has been said that from India, it has been like around 5 to 6% of the share globally. Okay. Now, these are the things mentioned in this. Now, another thing, important thing is solar impacted other industries also. Now, because of the solar energy transition, it has been said that it created around 7 million jobs. Right now, it is also transforming other sectors such as agriculture. Now, it is making agriculture, green in nature. Why? Because in agriculture we use pumps to extract water, but it is being said that there is solar submersible pumps are using. Now, hence this create again green ecosystem and things like that. Now, another important keyword mentioned is agrivoltaics, right? Remember this agrivoltaics. It means that in one way it is generating solar energy and also producing agriculture produce. How? In this article I mentioned one example that, for example, for livestock you are creating like a sheds and things like that, like this. If you create photovoltaic heads, it creates shades for the animals, and the same way it generates energy. Right now, this is what called as agrivoltaics, in which simultaneously you are generating solar energy and also using your land for the livestock. Now, these are the things mentioned in this article. Now, we will see some aspects regarding international solar alliance from the prelims perspective. Okay, try to use this data in your answer. Now, from the prelims perspective, we will know certain things regarding international solar alliance, because UPSC has a habit of asking questions regarding the international organizations. Right now, the ASE is one of the important organizations, especially from the India. So, from the prelims perspective, just see this previous year question. It was directly asking about International Solar Alliance. Now, this question is saying that it was launched at the United Nations Climate Change Conference in 2015. Yes, this statement is true. The alliance includes all the member countries of the United States. This is wrong. Okay, answer is 1. Now, see from the prelims perspective, you have to know that it was initially established by the India and France. Okay, during the time of COP21 conference of UNFCCC that is happening in the Paris, right? From the prelims perspective. Now, the headquarters is in Gurugram. Now, the first assembly of ISA was happened in 2018 in India. Now, remember that in this assembly only, India and UK collaborated to establish one sun, one world, one grid idea, in which they want to integrate regional grids into one common grid, so that to supply the renewable energy from surplus to deficit region. Right? Okay. Okay, next thing you have to know about towards 1000 strategy. UPSC may ask that towards 1000 strategy often seen in the news is related to which of the following organization. You have to remember that this is related to the International Solar Alliance. Now, what does this mean? See, this is a objective or a mission of ISA. What is it says? It want to generate 1000 billion of investment into the solar energy. Right? We want to reach 1000 million people regarding clean energy solutions. Okay. Next thing, we need to generate 1000 gigawatts of solar energy. We need to absorb or remove 1000 million tons of CO2. Now, these are the targets mentioned in this towards 1000 strategy. Now, this is a keyword you have to remember. Next, about membership. Now, initially when it was established, it is think that the countries that are between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, that is tropical countries, are the members. But later it was amended that now all the members of the UN can be members. All the members of the UN can become the members of International Solar Alliance. Presently, it is being seen that around more than 110 member countries are signatories, in which 90 countries are ratified. Okay, these are the things you have to know at least from the Prince perspective. Okay, you have to interlink like one sun, one world, one grid. Don't confuse. Now, it is in the first assembly of International Solar Alliance. India and UK collaborated and mooted the idea of one sun, one world, one grid. Okay, things like that. Okay. Now, coming to the next article. Now, what this news article is saying? This article is saying that the code of conduct judges need to follow. Now, what is the context of the news? The context of the news is recently Allahabad High Court judge attended a meeting conducted by the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, a right-wing pressure group. Okay, in this context, while after attending the meeting, the Allahabad High Court in this meeting given a speech. In his speech, he given certain comments and that become very controversial. Now, what are the comments given by him? Now, he said that in a country like India, the system of government or the structure of governance process should be worked based on the majority people. That is because it is a Hindustan. So these comments are communally charged, and hence it is saying that it is creating a divide such as majoritarianism and minorities, things like that. Now, this is the first criticism. And second thing, he said that in one community, our children is being taught about the peaceful nature of and tolerance and things like that. In another community, there is no such thing. Hence, there is animal slaughter. Now, again, this is discriminating the children of community. And another important comment given by him is regarding the UCC. He said that in one religion, the women are completely respected and revered. That's why in Hindus we preach women as goddess. In another community, they are practicing polygamy. Hence, again, these are considered as a discriminatory comments. Now, what are the reactions to these comments? Now, many people are saying that these are communally charged comments, anti-democratic comments. Certain senior advocates such as Kapil Sibal, reportedly called this for the impeachment of this High Court judge. Some member is saying that these statements are, leaning away from the democracy and towards a Hindu Rashtra and things like that. Now, this is what the controversy happened in context of the nation. Okay. Now, from the examination perspective, why this article is relevant or why this example is relevant? See, the name itself is mentioned that code of conduct. Now, code of conduct is a syllabus topic on the JS paper 4. Not only that, probity. Probity is a kind of quality of behavior in which a person is conforming to the expected standards of behavior or highest levels of ethical values. Okay. Now you can use this all this as an example in multiple things. For example, you can use this in non-partisanship also, impartiality mainly, non-partisanship, impartiality. Because in this article it is clearly mentioned that judge or judiciary is a responsible organization in which the behavior of the persons who are adorning this position should be impartial in nature so that people will have respect and trust on this institution. Okay, now that is what mentioned in this article. Behaviors will like this will erode the trust on the institution like judiciary. Now that is what mentioned in this article. And another important argument that is mentioned in this that there is a certain kind of judicial ethics that a judge has to be followed. This is ethics has given based on judicial interpretation over the time and some of the code of conduct given. Now it has been said that the speech or the behavior of a person both in and out of the code will affect the trust on the judiciary, right? Hence behavior of a judge must reaffirm the people's faith in the impartiality of the judiciary. Now that is what the saying, whether it is the behavior at the official capacity or personal capacity, his behavior, his words or he or she words should not erode the credibility or perception towards the judiciary or as an institution. Now, this is what mentioned in this article. The counter arguments is then saying that there are people saying there is a need of recognizing the freedom of expression of judge, right? But the judges are saying that, or the lawyers union are saying that freedom of expression is there for every profession, but this freedom of expression, should not dilute the, legacy and trust of the institution like a judiciary. Now, these are the things that are mentioned. Hence, in this article, things like how a judge impeached is also mentioned. You know that judges of the Supreme Court or High Court are mentioned based on the two grounds. That is, proved misbehavior and incapacity. Remember, even Constitution does not define words, these two. Okay? These are mentioned in this article. So try to use this as an example, especially in the GS paper 4, in impartiality, non-partisanship and probity, code of conduct and things like that. Okay. Now we'll move to the next article. Now this article is saying that Arvind Panagaria says issues of surcharges is complicated. Now what is the context of the news? Recently 16th Finance Commission visited Kerala to get the opinion of the state governments, because in later we need to get the recommendation of the 16th Finance Commission. Now in this context, states are saying that Kerala put certain demands. Now it is being said that center is not sharing the money collected in the name of cess and surcharge. Now over the years, the pool of cess and surcharge is increasing, among the as a percentage of gross tax revenue, but it is not sharing with the states. Now this is what the complaint. And not only Kerala, in the recent times, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin also said that those center is thinking that we are giving 41% of the gross tax revenue to the states. In the net or in reality, it is giving only 33%, because it is not sharing the amount, especially the cess and surcharge, which is as a percentage of gross tax revenue. Now, these are the arguments. Now, another arguments put forth regarding the Finance Commission is that presently around 41% of the money is sharing between the center and states. Now, Kerala state government is saying that we need to increase this formula, that is present 41% to 50% of the gross tax revenue should be given to the state governments. Another argument put forth is that the formula presently based, that is the criteria that is followed by the Finance Commission, to distribute the money among the states should be reworked. For example, about the forest coverage, tax efforts, demographic efforts and things like that. That formula has to be reworked. That is what the said in this article. Another important thing is that Kerala is saying that there is a need of increased allocation for the disaster management because disaster management is very localized in nature. Hence, it is a lot of burden for the state governments, especially because Kerala recently hit with the Wayanad landslides, and there is a controversy regarding the distribution of funds and things like that. Okay, in that context, it said, right. What is the argument of this finance commission? Finance commission is saying that already the divisible pool that is increased in 13th finance commission, it is giving only 32% of the gross tax revenue to the states, but in 14th finance commission, that is presently, it increased to 42, right? In 15th finance commission, it become 41% because of the new union territories like J&K and Ladakh and things like that. So it is increased from 32% 41%, but because of which centers pool is reduced. To address that issue, center is more relying on the cess and surcharge. Okay, now this is what the argument said by the finance commission, and this is a complicated issue. That is what said by the finance commission. Finance commission also said that constitutionally union is having the right, and that they should not or need not to distribute with the states. Now, this is what the thing mentioned in this article. So, where you can use this context in the examination perspective, see, finance commission is a very important thing which is given in the article 280, and finance commission recommendations are asked in US UPSC PYQs also. Other than that, federalism as a topic and theme is very important. UPSC recurringly, repeatedly asking this question in the mains examination, especially fiscal federalism as a concept. In fiscal federalism concept, you can use this thing or controversy between Tamil Nadu CM or Kerala towards the center and things like that as an example, right, in fiscal federalism. So in this way you can use. From the prelims perspective, we have to know certain facts regarding surcharge because UPSC has a habit of asking, economic concepts, technical economic concepts, especially things like that. Okay, we will see prelims perspective what is surcharge and things like that. Okay, now from the prelims perspective, you have to understand what is surcharge. See, surcharge is an additional tax or the charge that can be imposed on the existing taxes or duties for the union purpose. Now it is considered as a tax on tax, right? Now how the government get that power? Now it is given under the Article 271, right? It is being said that it gives Parliament the power to levy a surcharge. The proceeds from the surcharge are credited to the Consolidated Fund of India. Yes, this is an important point from the prelims perspective. Now, which is solely used by the union government. Again, this is also important. Solely used by the union government. Okay. Next, surcharges have no specific purpose, unlike cess. See, you may have heard about education cess, green energy cess, climate change cess, road cess, things like that. Okay. But surcharges no specific purpose. Okay. It can be used for any purpose. For cess, if it is conducted for particular thing, for example, Swachh Bharat cess, you have to use the money in that for that specific purpose only. You have to use anything like services or infrastructure regarding Swachh Bharat only if it is collected for that purpose. Okay. Next, surcharges, collected money goes to the Consolidated Fund of India and can be spent for any purpose. Okay. Now, next important thing is that certain specific goods and services are exempted from the certain charges that is based on the rules given by the central government, especially regarding goods and services. Now, surcharge can be imposed on the income tax, custom duty, or excise duty. Even it can be imposed on certain GSTs also, not all GSTs, certain GSTs, right? Next, from the examination perspective, you have to know one thing that cess and surcharge as a words are mentioned in the constitution. Okay, UPSC has a habit of whether these things are mentioned in the constitution or not. Yes, it is mentioned. Now, if we see just this article 270, this is the provision given in the constitution itself. Article 270 is saying that all the taxes and duties referred in the union list, except the duties and taxes referred in the Article 268 and 269, respectively, surcharge on the taxes and duties referred to in the Article 271 and any cess level. So, yes, surcharge and cess is mentioned in the Constitution. Okay. Now, from the examination perspective, you have to know basic difference between surcharge and cess. Okay. Now, cess is imposed by the central government, is a tax on tax. Again, levied by the government for a specific purpose. This specific purpose is a keyword for the cess. Okay. Generally, cess is expected to be levied till the time government gets enough money for that purpose. For example, if it is imposing for a health cess to combat tuberculosis, let's say example I'm saying, it will impose continuously for the money that is sufficient to address the issue of tuberculosis as a project or as a scheme, things like that. Okay. Now, these are the things you have to remember from the examination perspective. Okay, especially from the prelims perspective regarding surcharge. Now, we will move to the next article. Now, what this article is saying? Now, this article is saying that Pinarayi Vijayan, that is CM of Kerala, and CM Stalin, that is CM of Tamil Nadu, to come together for launch of Periyar Memorial in Vaikom. Okay, now, Vaikom is a place in Kerala. Now earlier it was in the Travancore province of Kerala. So what is the context of this? You know about the Vaikom Satyagraha, right? Vaikom Satyagraha was launched by the important leader called E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. He is also called Periyar. Okay, this Vaikom Satyagraha is one of the first organized movement for addressing the rights of the untouchable people. You know, if you study the history, that it is being said that Dalits are not allowed to walk on the road, especially the roads that are used by the upper caste people and the roads that are towards the temples. And temples were, you know, about temple entry movement. Now, this Vaikom Satyagraha is also considered as one of the first, organized temple entry movement. Okay, some people consider as it is an anti-caste movement, and some people consider as Hindu reforms movements and things like that. So hence, it is an important from the examination perspective because UPSC has a habit of asking regarding important movements, historic movements, and this Vaikom Satyagraha concluded recently 100 years because it's happened in 1924. Now in 2024 it concludes 100 years. Okay, because of which they are considering of a reinvention of Periyar Memorial. Okay, this is the context of the news. From the prelims perspective, we will know certain facts regarding the you know this Vaikom Satyagraha. Okay. Now we will see the previous year question. Like which one of the following is very significant aspect of the Champaran Satyagraha? Right. That's why I have taken this Vaikom Satyagraha. Okay. Now UPSC has a habit of asking, if there is something called any 100 years or 200 years completed, right? Just see the options here. Active all India participation of lawyers, students, and women in the national movement. All India, maybe active involvement of Dalit and tribal communities of India in the national movement. Joining of peasant and rest to the India's national movement. Now this is correct statement, third one. Okay, drastic decrease in the cultivation of plantation. This is an extreme statement again. Okay, the answer is C. Now, in this context, in this way, Vaikom Satyagraha can also be important from the prelims perspective. Okay, we will see certain things from that. As I said before, it is something related to the untouchability, and people are not allowed to the temple and not allowed to walk on the road. Even the leaders from the All India, Congress committees are not allowed to come to the temple and things like that. Okay. So now because of this, a movement was started. Now from the police perspective, it is the E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar is associated with Vaikom Satyagraha because UPSC is asking that, you have to match the following, you have to match the leaders and particular movement, things like that, okay? He is also called Periyar, okay? Some of the other leaders involved in this movement because UPSC last time it is asking that which are the following leaders are associated with which are the following movements and things like that, okay? In this article, remember that K. Kelappan, T.K. Madhavan, and KP Kesumenon are associated with this Vaikom Satyagraha. Remember, this Vaikom Satyagraha is supported by the Gandhi also. Gandhi, year after in 1925, visited Vaikom. Okay, other leaders such as, C. Narayan Guru also supported this movement. Now, later they were succeeded in opening the temple roads to everyone. Okay, this is one of the considered as a movement that is dawn of temple entry movement. That is one of the first movement and things like that. Okay, these are the things you have to remember from the Plin's perspective. Okay. Now we will move to the next article. Now this article is saying that deepening the India steps as a key spacefaring nation. Now you know that India is taking a lot of steps, especially toward the space sector. Now especially you know that India is established New Space India Limited to facilitate the private sector participation, in the activities of satellites launches and development of rocket technology. Building satellites and things like that. Okay. Now it is saying that ISRO's roadmap. Now ISRO has a target of having its own international space station in the coming years. Not only that, it want to set up its own reusable, rocket launching technology. Now this was called as next generation NGLV, next generation rocket launch vehicle. No, this requires a lot of research efforts and a lot of money. No, in the meanwhile, to compensate that, we need to encourage space sector. Now, this article is saying that we have to leverage the private sector industrial base. Why this example? This article mentions certain examples. Now, is saying that you know, presently private sector has a lot of capacity. For example, you know, rockets like starships have more capacity to carry the payloads than conventional rocket systems in India. Now, it is being said that presently, a reusable Falcon 9 rocket of SpaceX company, a US company, that can carry 5,500 kg to the geostationary transfer orbit, and an expandable version of Falcon 9 can carry 8,300 kg. Right now, it is being said that in India, in instance, for example, to carry a GSAT satellite, which is communication satellite, it weighs 4,700 kg. It can only carry to the geostationary orbit of 4,000 kg only, but This private company satellite is of 5,500 kg and 8,300 kg payload capacity. Now, this indicates that to reach the capacity of this level, India, it takes 8 years. So, rather than waiting till that time, we need to use or leverage the private sector. Now, that is what the author is saying. And space sector is an emerging sector which has a lot of potential for commercialization. Presently, space is an emerging sector and emerging space, especially regarding the economy. Okay, India also developing small satellites launching vehicle to commercialize its space services to provide satellite launching services for basic things such as open web. Recently, India launched for open web around 36 satellites by India. All these are indicators that private sector has a lot of capacity and capital to invest in the space sector, so that organizations such as ISRO can focus on the research activities and important activities such as developing reusable launch vehicles, developing Gaganyaan mission and things like that, International Space Station, you know, things like that. Okay, these are the things mentioned in this article. Okay, you can use examples like this, SpaceX Falcon 9 rockets and things like that to indicate that the significance of private sector in the space sector, and NSIL, New Space India Limited, which is a public sector organization established by the Department of the Space to facilitate the private sector participation, reusable rocket launch vehicle and things like that. Okay, space as a theme is important, especially from the perspective of GS Paper 3. Previously, there are questions asked, especially regarding how the space sector as a technology, as a science, can be applied in the real life. Space is used for the disaster management, traffic management, communication, and remote sensing and things like that. Okay, in that way, how to link to the syllabus. Now, there's nothing much to discuss from this. These are the things that are mentioned in the article. Okay, now we'll move to the next article. Now, what this article is saying. This article is saying that behind the great Indian internet shutdown. Now, what is the context of the news? In the J&K, when there is internal disturbance happened, and not only that, in the northeastern region during disturbances happened during Manipur violence, internet is being shut down. Right now, this article is saying that the frequency of internet shutdown is increasing in India. That's why many reports of the foreign journalists are saying that India is the capital of internet shutdown. Now, that is what the comment or criticism on India. Now, this article is saying that in 2020, there are, 129 instances of internet suspension. These are recorded, and there are many unrecorded. And these are saying that economy suffered, especially $2.8 billion are loss, because the effect of internet shutdown is multifaceted. Now, this article itself is mentioning that internet is not just a source of information, it's part and parcel of the life, especially in this digital age, because internet is required especially to access to the e-governance services, social leisure services such as entertainment. They need information and freedom of expression also. It can be in the form of creative expression such as performing arts, dance, music, or things like that, or to raise your voice. Especially recently, social activism and digital activism, we have seen people are complaining using social media, so they are getting the social solidarity, strength. And this is also called as journalistic service and psychological effect also, because people are feeling often isolation because of the increasing use of social media, that having able to interact with the people from far regions, that reduce the impact of psychology also, and it is impacting the economic activities because increasingly internet is integrated into the business activities and things like that. Now, this is the importance of the internet that is mentioned in this article. But what are the reasons mentioned by the government while shutdown of internet? Now, it is being said that when there is any communal clashes or conflict happen in a region, social media, increasing use of internet will lead to spread of provocative material on the social media. Now, this may incite violence because there is no proper authentication of information. Rumors from this spread. This misguide the people with misinformation and things like that happen. Now, this lead to mobilization of people, incite violence and things like that. No, this is an issue. That's why government is saying the reason. Now, another thing, government argument is that even if we ban the internet in that time, we are only banning the mobile internet services, not broadband. But the author in this article is saying that very few people use broadband. It is being said that around 97% of the people who are using internet, it is mobile based internet only. Hence, this is severely affecting the people, especially poor people. Why? Because it is being said the mobile internet is less costly. Hence, poor people choose mobile internet rather than broadband. Hence, it has the poverty angle also. Right now, major issues mentioned in this article regarding the internet shutdown is that the orders of the internet shutdown are not publishing on the government website. Now, it is being said that the orders of the internet shutdown is coming to the social media, but the proper orders were not publishing. If there is no proper orders of publishing, there is less chances of going to the court. For example, if there is a person, if they are having any grievances regarding the internet shutdown, they cannot move to the court because they cannot question the legal basis. No, if they publish, they may have legal basis that on what basis they have imposed the shutdown, what is the rationale, what is the reason, what is the provision that they have, enabled. So based on that, a person moved to the court because of not publishing on the government websites or publishing very later time. It takes a lot of delay in the judicial adjudication. Now, this also lead to less awareness of the people. Now, these are the issues mentioned in this article. Now, the Supreme Court also highlighted that in especially Anuradha Basin case, access to internet is part of the fundamental right to freedom of expression under the Article 19. Why? Because internet is integrated pervasively in every sectors of our life or every sphere of our life. So it will lead to information. Information is very much required to enable our freedem of expression. Expression it can be any from verbal, non-verbal, physical, social media expression, and things like that. Hence, remember this that use of internet is implicitly part of the right to freedom of expression because it is a source of right to information also and things like that. Okay, remember this case so that you can use in your GS2 answer, which adds value to your answer. Remember these facts like 2.8 billion dollars of economy loss because of internet shutdown and things like this. Okay, social activism, keywords like digital activism. Okay, you can use in your article. Now, why this article is relevant? This article is relevant especially from the fundamental rights perspective under the Article 19. Article 19 is repeatedly asking in GS paper 2. Now, if you see this previous year question, what do you understand by the concept freedom of expression, freedom of speech and expression? Does it cover hate speech also? Why do the films in India stand on slightly different plane in the forms of expression compared to other forms of expression discussed? Now, this is one of the PYQ of the GS2. Now, this is asking freedom of speech and expression. Now, internet shutdown is also part of that freedom of speech and expression, right? Hence, in this way, this is relevant. Okay. Now, these are the things you have to remember from the examination perspective. I hope you like the video. That's all for today. Thank you.